felt like I identified what it was going to take to win the show. So my thought was you have to connect with the people that have the voting device. And in my way, I thought the best was to crowd interaction.
All down singing, so cheers to a good and to another long.
There you go, Adam.
Raising my glass to those saving our ass overseas.
Oh, this guy's good.
G'day mates, it's your host Mary O'Neill Phillips and you are listening to Country Outdoors Podcast.
G'day everyone and welcome back to Country Outdoors Podcast. I'm your host Mary O'Neill Phillips and we are coming to you from Chiefs on Broadway. Wherever you're tuning in from, please like, subscribe and share with your friends. Now in this week's episode, I am so excited guys because I have an old friend of mine. He's somebody that I met when I first moved to town. He's a #1 songwriter. He's an avid outdoorsman. When I think about the outdoorsman in town, he's one of the people who first comes to mind. He has earned his stripes in this town and he is the winner of The Road on CBS. Guys, welcome Adam Sanders.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Wonderful. A little tired.
Yeah.
Things have been crazy, as you can imagine, over the last few months. But it's so good to see you. We literally were talking. It's been like a year or two since we've been able to like hang out, and so it's good. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna get obviously like I was so excited when we partnered with Field and Stream because I have like a list of people that I wanted to get on the show, and you're definitely one of the people. When I think of like actual true hardcore hunters and sportsmen and women in this town, you've obviously always come to mind. We've hunted together and you live and breathe that lifestyle. We're going to get to that, but first I want to talk about this success of The Road and all of that stuff. Zach and I watched it because we knew you, Cody, and Cassidy.
Yeah.
And we were so excited to see all of you doing so well on the show. And then honestly, like I wasn't shocked at all to see the success that you had because I just feel like it's been a long time coming. And it was really great to see you wanting to step outside of the songwriter's role because you are an entertainer. So I loved it. I love getting to see all of that and everybody else, like all these other artists who you really like, you're on the same level as them, seeing that too. So let's go through the whole thing. I didn't even know that you had auditioned for it and all of that. And then when I saw it, I was like, so.
Yeah, what an amazing opportunity for me. It was a very organic process, honestly. I got a cold email one day from Blake Shelton's production manager that said, "Hey, can I pitch you for a TV show?"
How do you have your email?
So I had played a show, I think it was a Country Thunder, and he had apparently, liked what he saw and, just said hello to him at the festival. And like a whole couple years goes by and he emails me one day and just says, "Hey, it's Chris Alderman. Can I pitch you for a show?" And I was like, "Sure," which I had no idea what the show was. I just sort of said, "Sure."
Yeah.
And so like 6 months goes by and then I start getting reached out by casting. And they start explaining to me the process and the formula of the show and what makes it different than any other singing competition. And prior to having those conversations, I can honestly tell you that I had no intentions ever to do any kind of television singing competition show because when we think of those, we think of a certain format the way that it is, and no knock against that. I just felt like my time was probably better served continuing to write songs in Nashville and continuing to play shows out on the road and hopefully catch my big break as an artist through those processes, which is what I had done up to this point.
Yeah.
And so I honestly it just felt right from the very beginning. And for me, what sold it was I get to go out and open for Keith Urban in front of real fans.
Yeah.
I can play my original music full band.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if I'm planning on touring this year anyways, why not go do it and get some television exposure, with it? So it honestly was just it was a gut feeling to go do it. And honestly, I had such a great time, top to bottom. It was really cool to get to know all of the other 11, artists that were there. A couple of them I had known prior to being a part of the show, but there was a few that, I was unfamiliar with or just kind of knew of their name, like Cody Hibbert. I kind of knew of Cody, but I never met him. Mm-hmm. And so it was great to be able to learn their stories and just watch their careers take off too.
A lot of us grew up with Field and Stream, dreaming about our next cast, our next hunt, and our next outdoor escape. We listen to our dads and grandfathers' stories from time spent outside with friends and the traditions that they've kept alive for generations. And now you can read the best of outdoor storytelling the way it was meant to be read. Field and Stream is back in print. For a limited time, new members get a bonus journal with their first delivery, and premium members also get a members only hat. That's 3 journals for your first year when you subscribe. Hands down, a subscription to the 1871 Club is the best gift out there. Each issue is a true collector's item, nearly 160 pages of outdoor stories and photography. Great for the coffee table or to pass down for generations. This special offer is only available for a limited time, so join the 1871 Club today and head to fieldandstream.com/1871club. Good luck.
And so, when did you find out, like, okay, firstly, when you actually do the audition, what song do you sing? What does that look like?
So we walk in this room that's full of CBS people,
Yep.
Paramount, Blake Shelton's in the room, Lee Metzger. And I noticed that there was just a microphone standing, and they wanted us to just walk up and stand and sing. And I felt like that was kind of stale, if everyone else is sitting. So I asked the guy during rehearsal, I said, hey, can you find me a bar stool and just go tuck it over in the corner? Like, don't put it here. Just put it in the corner. So I was like one of the last people to go. I walk in, and the first thing I do when I walk in was I turned to Blake and I said, hey, just want to let everybody know in this room, the only reason why I'm here is to convince you to take me hunting on your ranch in Oklahoma. Only reason. And everybody laughed, and so I walked up, grabbed the stool, sat it in front, and just sat down, and just like I was at the listening room, like I just wanted it to be like this intimate feel, and played a couple songs. And I'll never forget the last question that they asked me. They asked you some questions, and Lee Metzger asked me, he said, Adam, he said, you've accomplished so much in your career already up to this point. You're a writer of #1 songs. You've got over 200 million streams. You've opened for all these artists. Why this show? And I said, because this show gives me a moment that I've never had in my career. I feel like my career has always been this like steady build, but it's never been this true I have arrived moment.
So yeah.
And I really thought about it in a lot of context too, like when Chris Stapleton played at the CMAs with Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
And we all knew who, Chris Stapleton was prior to that moment.
Right.
But like that was his moment to the world to
Yeah.
say like, oh my gosh, this guy has arrived and
Yeah.
he's been here. And so I looked at it very similar to that. But yeah, it was luckily I was one of the ones they picked, and we went out of the room.
And then, okay, so then what does that look like? They tell you how long? Are you like gone for 3 months?
Well, they were very vague, honestly, about a lot of it. All we knew is that we were going to go and open for Keith at different shows. They would not tell us where the shows were because they didn't want, because a lot of us, have some sort of following. They didn't want us to sort of stack the audience.
Yeah.
Be able to say, hey, y'all, I'm coming to Dallas tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I need all my fans there.
Right.
Because all of this is fan voted. It's in the moments.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, we would literally, the first place we knew is we were flying to Dallas.
Are you flying in and out though, or are you
Yeah,
gone?
so once we flew out to start the road to go to the first show, we were out the entire time until you either kicked off the show or you make it to the finale.
So was that like 3
So
months?
it was about 10 weeks straight.
Yeah.
And we traveled, on a tour bus, from city to city, and we stayed multiple nights in each city. But it was a different experience for me because we're so used to flying in or busing in to a show the day before or day of, and you're literally leaving the same day to go to the next one.
Yeah.
This was a situation where we would arrive a few days before. We would have rehearsals. We would have content we would have to shoot, and then 3 or 4 days down the road is when the actual show was.
So you got prep time.
Yes, and then we would go to the next city and start it all over again.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, which is, I guess, an advantage if you have preparation time, but also builds a lot of anticipation.
For sure. And what I tried to do, honestly, was, we shot all this February, March, and April. So it's kind of in the middle of flu season. And
Okay,
so, like,
season.
yeah. And I did not want to take a chance on like going out at night and getting sick,
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
God forbid, whatever, get food poisoning or drink too much.
Yeah.
So I honestly, I just kind of hung out, in my room. I watched March Madness.
Were you in hotels or on the bus?
We were in hotels when we stayed in, each city.
Your own room?
Bus, yes. Yep.
I was going to say it because that probably, yeah.
Yeah, no, they were very, gracious and gave us our own room, and which was great because it gave you time to, just kind of debrief and thing. I mean, you know how it is living on the road. You need some alone time.
For sure. Yeah. Okay. And then, so at what point in the competition did you think, or did you know from the beginning, like, did you go into it obviously with the mind frame of like, I'm going to try and win it, but when did you think, oh, I think I'm like got a real chance at this?
I felt like, going into it, that my experience would really help me in this environment. And I honestly felt from the first show, I felt like I identified what it was going to take to win the show. And, if you compare it to playing a football game, and you look at, okay, how do we just win the game? You do whatever you got to do, whether that's run the ball, run the clock out, you got to score a lot of points or just have great defense, whatever that is. Same thing with turkey hunting, like if you got a turkey, how do you get in the game? And so I identified that, and my thought is the formula is Keith Urban announced these pop-up shows a week or so before they happen. And so you have a rabid fan base of Keith Urban fans that are coming to these shows. They don't understand what we're actually there to do. They just know that they're there to watch him play, which he does, perform every night. So these fans are lining up, 5-6 hours before the doors open. They get inside this venue. They sign an NDA. They lock their phones in this, locked device, like you go to a comedy show. And then 1 in every 10 people they give a voting device to. And they say, when everyone gets in, the producers come out on stage, hey, you guys are here to see Keith Urban's show. But by the way, we're filming a new series called The Road. You guys are going to see X amount of openers. They're going to perform 2 songs. And you're going to have 2 minutes to lock in what you feel like is a good performance from 1 to 10. And basically what they would do is take an average of your score, and that's how they would rank us each night. And so my thought is okay, you have 2 songs to make an impression, and besides that, we're having to do cut downs of the songs for TV purposes. So we're literally only doing, a minute 50 seconds, 30 seconds of each song. So my thought is you have to connect with the people that have the voting device. And in my way, I thought the best was to crowd interaction. Yeah. I felt like that there was some better singers out there. But I did not think that there was anyone else that was there that was better than connecting with an audience, knowing what songs to play when and where, and how to grab an audience. Yeah. So I just leaned into that like triple hard. And a lot of times I found myself, honestly, what I thought was overperforming, but it was what was called for to win the show. Yeah. And so, like I said, I just felt like I knew what it would take to get to the end.
And also with them being Keith Urban fans and the type of show that he puts on, trying to like meet that energy as well. Like they know what they're coming for. Yeah. That's really interesting. And then, so how was it when you had people like Jordan and stuff like that coming out? Because I assumed you probably knew Jordan, right? Didn't you? Or...
So I've known of Jordan. We weren't that necessarily that close, but we had Dustin Lynch that was out, and Dustin's a really good friend of mine.
Yeah,
we
obviously, right.
And so it was a really cool experience to have other artists that were coming out, and not just Blake be there the entire time. Blake was in the middle of touring himself, so I think he was there for the first couple shows, and then we started having special guests that was coming out. So it was cool because we were all taking bets on who it was going to be. So we would literally think, oh, who are they going to pick? Who are they going to pick? And,
were you shocked by anyone?
The Dustin one for me was backed out because we were in Tulsa, Oklahoma at Kane's Ballroom. And I should have caught on to this, but like the producers mentioned during catering, they were like, hey, didn't you play here, like in 2024, 25? Like, I saw your poster on the wall. It's with Dustin Lynch and your name's on there. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we played here before. And I'd also been there with Cam. And didn't think anything else of it. I'm backstage and I'm getting ready, and all of a sudden he just turns around the corner, and I'm like, "What
the
you doing here?" You know? So it was really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, and then so let's get down to the finale, which was between Tanner, Cassidy, and yourself. Both of them obviously have like insane voices and stuff too. How did you choose what you were going to perform?
Well, when I picked my songs for the show, we had to turn all of these in prior to going out.
Yeah.
I picked the finale first.
Okay.
So I felt like I needed a moment to win the show. So I felt like I was going to pick the songs that gave me that best possible ability to do that in a Ryman environment. Now, if we would have been in a different environment than the Ryman, I may not have picked what I picked. But what confirmed it for me was first show in, Gretchen Wilson comes up to me, which is our tour manager, and she says, "Hey, I think you should do a Brooks and Dunn song as one of your covers." And I said, "I'm saving that for the Ryman." And she kind of looked at me weird, and she said, "How do you know you're going to make it to the Ryman?" And I said, "I don't, but I know that if I do, I got to have a moment to win this." Yeah. She just kind of stepped back and said, "Okay." And so that was like confirmation, because I had planned on doing, a Brooks and Dunn song. And then for the original song, it was actually a last minute audible. We were given the option to be able to do a song that we had already performed prior, because the producers was like, "Hey, at this point, most of you guys are getting down to your, 8th, 9th best song in your minds, because, a lot of artists picked their best first, and then they were kind of going down the line." Yeah. So they said, "We want to give you guys the ability to go out on your best song." And I just kind of took a synopsis of what I felt like was the most crowd engaging song of my performances, and I decided on a song called All Summer Long. And honestly, what I felt like won me the night was I laid in bed for a week thinking how to create this moment. And on the original song, I said, this tonight is what dreams are made of. It's my first time playing the Ryman, and I want to make a memory tonight that I'll never forget. So I need your help. And here's how we're going to do it. We're going to start this song together. I was talking to the crowd, and I said, so when I start clapping, we're going to start this song together. So I started clapping on beat, and I have the whole Ryman standing, and everyone's clapping all in unison. And I turned to the drummer, and we kicked the song off, and we go in, and I felt like that was what got me to win the show.
Yeah, because you engaged with everybody, and that's awesome.
Zach, myself, and the Country Outdoors family are proud to have Hawk Optics as a sponsor. When it comes to clarity, precision, and overall quality of the product, we have found Hawk Optics to be top of the line and field tested their products year round and had great success. You can check out this example here on the screen of my recent Colorado elk hunt, where I harvest this monster bull elk using the Frontier 30 SF hooked up onto my fix from Q.
That's so exciting. So, okay, so you won, and you win this the money, the cash, which I'm sure is taxed a ton.
Oh, that's good. Uncle Sam's gonna get a big cut of that for sure.
Yeah. And then the slot at Stagecoach. But you didn't, so there was a label. What's the deal with that? Because I saw that you didn't take the record deal.
Yeah, so the great thing about this show was they were very pro-artist.
Yeah.
They wanted, the vision for this, Blake and Lee, when they created this show, they wanted this show to be a way to just help artists get to the next level.
Yeah.
That were deserving of that had been grinding it out, that just needed a bump in, PR and just kind of the exposure. And so they gave us the option to take the record deal. Also, I'm sure they probably gave us the option, to take the money. I mean, but who wouldn't want to take the money? And, the Stagecoach slot, and then also the Pinnacle for the Red Bull Jukebox. And so, honestly, for me, I thought about it long and hard. I prayed about it. For whatever reason, doing the show felt right from the very beginning in my guts. The record deal side just did not feel right for me at that moment. So I decided to, to pass on it. And so, I know that, the label is going to crush everything that they, have coming up. And I'm really excited to see what they do. But I'm now in the mindset of letting Nashville know that, hey, I didn't take the deal, so they don't necessarily assume. And see if there's anyone else that wants to have a conversation, and see if we can find our home, somewhere else in Nashville.
No, I love that. That's great. And then, you are playing Stagecoach?
I am.
That's exciting. What is that?
Same night as Post Malone and Brooks and Dunn.
Whoa.
You believe?
Oh, that's cool. That's so cool.
Yeah, I told my day-to-day, I was like, hey, you know, this video blew up of me singing That Ain't No Way to Go for the finale on social media. And I was like, how do we get this to them and like try to find a way to sing together at Stagecoach, because we're playing the same night, you know, on the same stage.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens for that. So if Brooks and Dunn's team's watching this,
That's
make that happen at Stagecoach.
That's what your team is for.
Yeah.
That's what we need Carrie for.
That's right.
That's awesome. And then, okay, so right now you're kind of just like living in the moment of all of that, seeing what else is coming to you. Have you had like anything crazy happen with fans since then? Like,
Well, I'll tell you this, you know, prior to the finale, everyone was asking me, hey, are you seeing this big uptick in streams and followers? And I was definitely seeing, you know, an increase for sure, but nothing like the night of the finale. When the finale hit, like the world decided that everyone that I knew was going to text me or message me. And it was pretty overwhelming, to be honest with you. It took me a day or two to like even want to look at all of it, because I wanted to enjoy the moment. And even though I had known about this, winning this, you know, all the way back the 1st of April, the world was just sort of finding out about it.
yeah.
And so I just kind of wanted to, you know, soak it up as much as I could. And then, you know, went back through and, you know, messaged everyone back. And, you know, my thought was I didn't want to not respond, and people think, oh, he's won some TV show. And
now look at him.
Sort of thing. So I went through all of them and messaged everyone back, and of course was very grateful of all that. But even since then, a lot of, you know, it's just kind of hit a whole nother level with a lot of PR press, you know, coverage, and, you know, doing podcasts and all that kind of stuff. And so it's it feels so good to be in the position that I'm in, because there was a time in my career where I didn't know if I was going to be able to reach my dreams and goals that I always envisioned. And so, you know, to be where I am now, it's just a very grateful feeling, you know, to be here. So.
And what would you say then? Because like you know, just from like, it was stuff that I knew, but like on the show you spoke about it a lot, like feeling like you got kind of like, not because of anyone or anything, but like pigeonholed into the songwriting pool. And so what would you say then for, you know, other songwriters that are kind of in that situation, that are finding that, like, what do you have any advice right now? Or,
you know, I feel like for me, it was a double-edged sword for me to move to Nashville at 21 years old and have the success that I had as a writer as early as I had it. Because what happened for me,
just so everybody knows, so Adam wrote Hell of a Night, which was Dustin Lynch #1, and then you went with the Wissy Cole Swindle. Your two number ones. Yeah.
And what's crazy about those two songs is they went to radio the same exact day.
That's
Which
crazy.
is wild.
What was the gap?
So one took 24 weeks to get to #1, which was Ain't the Whiskey, and Hell of a Night took 56 weeks. So there was a little bit of a gap difference between, you know, the two, but still, you know, I had
good
#1,
paycheck.
in a year, and I had another song that same year called Real Men Love Jesus that Michael Ray recorded. And so it was just a crazy time. And so what happened was, you know, I moved to Nashville to be an artist. The songwriting was what got my foot in the door.
Yeah.
So I start putting out music myself. And what I found out very quickly was I knew how to write hit songs, but I did not know what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
I did not have a brand.
As I have a confession to make, I have a terrible sense of direction, and it's no wonder I haven't got lost in the woods or eaten by a bear at this stage, but there's a reason for that, and it's because I have Onyx Hunt. Onyx Hunt is incredible. It's an incredible mapping feature, and it has helped me navigate my way out of some pretty sketchy areas using the compass feature. I've been able to get back to my truck. I've been able to drop pins and waypoints to be able to coordinate how to get to A to B, to be able to find that turkey that I saw on the road and knock and get permission. Guys, though, if you really want to know who's a fanatic at dropping pins, it's my husband, Zach. If you look in his phone, he has thousands of these pins. If it was the 1920s, he'd be able to trade them and get some money out of them. But don't take my opinion. Go and download Onyx today and check it out for yourself. Good luck this fall.
So I felt like I got really exposed early as an artist because I didn't have a brand and I didn't really know what I wanted to say. And so I then started to just kind of work on that over the next several years, you know, and so
Yeah.
everything that I've been through has led me up to this moment. And so I can honestly say that, you know, because of my path, I was prepared for this moment to be ready.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's the old saying? If, you know, you don't have to get ready if you stay ready. And so I
Yeah.
was ready for this. And so, you know, I don't really know if I would give anyone advice other than everyone's paths are different.
Yeah.
And there's no two ways to make it in this industry. Just go where you feel led to go. And ultimately, if it's meant to be, it's going to work out some way.
Yeah.
A lot of times in ways that you never would have imagined.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would agree on that. And also, everybody has something different to add to the world, and your day will come.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's cool. That's really exciting. What did your dad say and your family say?
Oh, just so much pride. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember picking him out in the crowd at the Ryman, and just seeing the pride on his face. Like, I got choked up for a second.
So was that really the first time you played the Ryman?
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I had to look away from him and just stay locked in because, like, I was, you know, would have gotten too emotional, you know, to like think about my dad watching me, and so it was really special for sure.
And did you find out that night that you won? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, that's really cool. Very happy for you. I want to get into hunting now because we've just best part. Well, you know, you've had some really good luck over the last 3 falls. I was going back and I was like, he shot a nice buck every year for the last 3 or 4 years. This bloody bastard. Oh, I had a bad fall. No, I shot a stag this year, but didn't have a good whitetail season. Let's talk about hunting. You grew up in Florida and then you moved to Nashville for songwriting, but kind of grew up a little bit of a cracker.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. When people hear me talk and I say that I'm from Florida, like, it floors them. If most people think of Florida, they think of like Orlando and Miami, and, you know, like, I'm from north central Florida, a little town called Lake City, which is as rural and as red as you could ever imagine. You know, it's basically Georgia.
Like Michael Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was a kid that grew up around hunting. My parents got a divorce when I was about 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad moved to Nashville when I was about 10.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't really have anyone, like a father figure, that could take me hunting, but my uncle was someone that really took me as a kid and, you know, just enjoyed, you know, going with him. But I didn't get to go all the time. I think I shot my first deer in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I shot what I thought was a doe that ended up being a 3-point.
Oh.
And, you know, in Florida, we grew up holding our bucks like you're holding pencils.
Yeah.
Like, because they're just, you know, so small. And it wasn't, though, until I moved to Nashville and I realized that I needed a yin to the yang to this industry, is when I really, really got, like, immersed in hunting, and it became a true passion of mine. You know, my thought process was I needed something that was going to take me out of the crazy environment. And what better way to do that than the outdoors, where you could just be still and, you know, just kind of, it's therapy in a way. And so that's why I really got into it.
And then so after your first, so was this after your first number one? Did you buy that, like, so do you still own the same spot?
Yeah, so I've been there for 8 years.
Okay.
And so, no, so that, like.
Well, your dad's got.
Correct.
Yeah,
got, you know,
that mountain.
72 acres or so. When Dad bought.
Which, gosh, I don't even want to know what that's worth now.
Oh,
my God. Okay. Oh, this is what I haven't told you guys. So when I first moved to town in 2015, 16, the first friend that I made was his brother. And I was at Losers and Adam was actually playing Whiskey Jam. Didn't know Adam. I was in there and I was so over talking to all these just like uppity people in Nashville, and I was like, I need to make friends with some rednecks. And so I looked around and I was like, they look like rednecks. And so I walked over, and lo and behold, it was his brother and his friend who was like a pest control trapper or whatever. One of the dudes, he was like, yeah.
And
And I was like, these guys are super redneck. And so we just became friends. And I didn't know anyone in town, and they'd pick me up and take me out to Adam's dad's farm, which was 72 acres,
Yep.
but it's literally like 40, not even 40 minutes out, 30 minutes out of Nashville. And they had this like bar on the property called the Bean.
Yep.
And then they had all these shooting houses. We'd get fireworks on the 4th of July and nearly light the place on fire. We had some wild times. But anyway, and so I met Adam back then. And so I know this property, and now I'm thinking like, gosh, I can't even imagine what that's worth now. He's sitting on a gold mine.
Crazy. So how they got that property. So we were living in a single wide trailer prior to my dad getting that piece of property in a little trailer park. And I was a kid that grew up in a double wide trailer my entire life.
Yeah.
So my dad was able to get this piece of property through foreclosure. And one thing that, helped him get it was this place was just trashed out. There was no bridge that was across the creek. So if the creek was up, from rain, then you couldn't cross it, and so my dad just saw something in it and said, hey, I can make something here. And so we bought the property and got it for a
Put that
steal.
bridge in.
Yeah, put the bridge in. And so it was there on that property though that I remember getting just really bit by the bug. I started hunting with a friend of mine that got me into bow hunting. I shot a deer, a doe for the first time with a bow in Lebanon, Tennessee. And the next season, I started hunting my dad's place. And that year, I was very, very fortunate to shoot two 150s off that property. And I felt like for me, that was when the knowledge of what I was learning started to sort of like all gel together.
Yeah.
And I just got so immersed in like the science behind, hunting and, weather and all that kind of stuff. And so the cycle of the rut, all that stuff I was really just researching and learning about. And that year it paid off where I was able to, harvest 2 really good deer. And then from then on, I was just like, but
yeah, this is it.
New Field and Stream pack provisions, dog food, treats, and supplements fuel your dog's focus, strength, and stamina for your next outdoor adventure. Because your dog works hard and their food should too. Load up on Field and Stream pack provisions at Tractor Supply or learn more at packprovisionspet.com.
Oh yeah, I think she likes it.
Field and Stream pack provisions dog food. Guide rated, adventure ready.
And so you hunt there, and then you've got like that other property around there too that you.
Yeah, so I've got 2 or 3 different places that I have access to. My house, we've got 200 acres that I hunt on there. Got a few other little lease properties that are around, and I've also been very fortunate to travel a lot, and hunt in Texas or Kentucky or Illinois, kind of all over the place.
You're probably going to get invited on a lot more hunts now. Oh, what did Blake say? Is he going to invite you out?
Well, he told me. He said, "All right, we'll do it."
You got to hold him to that.
Absolutely.
So Blake.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll come too.
Yes. Hey, we'll go film an episode out there.
There we go. We'll film you, Blake. We'll do a conservation episode for Field and Stream of you doing your plots and planning in the summer, and then we'll come out and we'll shoot some of your deer.
What I hear, you got plenty to go around. But yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so the last couple of years you've shot some really nice bucks, and we're going into spring, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But the last couple of years you shot some nice bucks. One was in Kentucky, one was, you can tell me all the different places, but
let's see. So this year, I'll try to go backwards. So this year I shot a really good deer opening weekend in Kentucky.
Yeah.
He still had velvet hanging off his
That's
horse.
so
I didn't get
cool.
him a true velvet.
But that's sweet. That's it.
It was such a great experience hunt. I went out and hunted with my friend George Cummins with buck bourbon, an attractant that's in Tractor Supply, and he invited me to come up and hunt with him, and had this deer picked out for me. I didn't get to hunt the first 2 days of season because my wind wasn't right to go set in this place, and so went in the first evening that I was able to hunt him. And
did they come to the buck bourbon?
They sure did.
So they like it.
Oh, they love it.
Okay.
So was able to get him, and then after that, my season got really just dry. Like I did not have any bucks here that I really wanted to go after. I had one deer that I just kind of wanted to see, to see if I felt like he was old enough.
Yeah.
My neighbor ended up getting him. And so I just kind of was like, hey, it's one and done essentially, and was able to slide down to Texas to a ranch that I go to or try to go to once a year, and was able to get one more deer for the rest of the season there and shot a hog while I was there. So that was great. Last year, season prior, I chased this buck on one of my farms all season long. Ended up getting a shot on him. I had 2 or 3 encounters with him. I ended up getting an arrow in him. I think it was like December 1st, and I hit him high.
Yeah.
And was devastated by it.
It's the worst feeling in the world. Yeah.
How this happened, I have no idea. I was checking my cameras 3 days later. He was back on camera, and that night he hit 5 of my 6 cameras that I had at that property.
Oh.
He just made this big loop, and he was in daylight. And I was like,
he's being dumb.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
And so I went back and was able to get him and shoot him the second time, and
That's awesome.
got him. So that was cool.
Gotta love a redemption story.
Yeah. And then the year before that, I can't remember if that was the year that the year prior to that was whenever I got my biggest buck to date.
Yeah.
Which was here in Nashville, 182.
Yeah, that's insane.
Which was incredible. And then I also shot another pretty nice deer that year as well.
So has this all been bow hunting?
Yes.
Yeah. What are you shooting?
I've got a Matthews.
Yeah.
I got the lift. RX this year.
Yeah.
Or RS.
What kind of blades?
I was shooting Rage 2 blades, but I changed over to the Beast broadheads this year.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you.
Is that a fix?
No, it's expandable.
Yeah.
I am so impressed by these things.
Yeah.
I shot 4 different deer with the same broadhead this year, and within seconds, like I hit one in the liver and watched it literally in 5 minutes. Just and sometimes liver shots can take time. But I was very, very impressed with these broadheads. But the Beast broadheads,
Very exciting. Spring is here.
Hey.
And I remember fondly the turkey hunt that we did with Drew Baldridge.
Yeah.
That was and now he's like hunting.
I know. Yeah, I think he grew up hunting and just like was kind of a typical guy that moves to Nashville and doesn't really have a place to go. That thing. And I think that was his first turkey that he ever got.
But that's why it's so important to just like if you have the opportunity to share the joy to do it, because it changes people's lives.
Yeah, I would say turkey hunting for me, and you know this about all that. Turkey hunting has become more about like taking people.
Yeah.
Like deer hunting is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But turkey hunting is I kind of promote every year to songwriters and artists in Nashville. I'm like, hey, if you have never shot a turkey and you want to go, but you have nowhere to go, you just tell me a day that works for you during the turkey season, and I will do my best to go put you on a bird. And so I've done that the last 2 or 3 years, and so Drew was an example of that. And so, it's really cool.
That's awesome. Have you got any hunts lined up this year that you're excited about yet?
Not official. I think that I'll obviously do some turkey hunting here in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I may try to fly up to Kentucky and go with George with Buck Bourbon. But later, as we get in the fall, think I'm gonna try to draw this year for my Iowa.
Okay. Yeah.
5 point.
I drew last year and.
Was it not good?
I missed.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try it. I probably could have drawn this year, but I decided not to. So I got 5 preference points, and I really, 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 my bucket list right now is to go kill an elk. And so part of this money that I want for the road, that's gonna be my present for winning. I'm gonna, go on.
Where are you gonna go?
I don't know.
Somewhere nice.
My thought is this. When it comes to an elk, a lot of really good places are booked out, far in advance.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I want to gamble if it's somewhere I'm going to pay on the chance of doing it with a bow first.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably would try to do some sort of rifle hunt.
Yeah.
Have better odds.
Yeah.
And then try to tackle the bow hunting thing after I get my first elk, because I haven't, had that opportunity yet. So I've just been reaching out to a lot of friends and just kind of getting some suggestions and just checking.
I've got a suggestion. Did you see? You saw the elk I got Tuesday? Yeah. That was rifle.
Wow.
I've got a guy.
Yes, I would love any recommendation.
I'll give you a recommendation on that. what has been for you over the last couple of years, like something that's been challenging that you've overcome, and how? And I also want to I also want to talk about how God has played a part in your story.
Yeah, so in my career specifically, so I started singing when I was 3 years old. This is the only thing I've ever wanted to do, ever thought of. And of course, I've had some great success in Nashville. We're so blessed, but it's really easy to compare or think that you didn't reach your full potential. And so there was a period in my career from, about 2023 that I really had to dig deep for the first time to see if I truly wanted to continue this. And what I found was I realized that music is what I do, and no matter to the success that it brings, I will always write songs, play shows, record music, because it's just what I do. And I felt like when I made that decision, there was a weight that was lifted off of me, because I did not have to look at this benchmark of success.
Yeah.
We see so many artists, and I hate it, because I was there at one point where they're questioning, should I keep doing this?
Because I'm not here yet.
Correct.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, if they feel like their time has run out to get there, they just kind of quit.
Yeah.
And they give up. And then they, so for me, quitting wasn't an option, because it's like, this is what I do. I just changed my mindset on it and the way I looked at it. And I remember having a prayer that year, and I just said, Lord, I'm a very hard worker, and I felt like I had gotten a lot of my success through my own manifestation of creating it. And I noticed that was such a bad place to be in, because it was a very
self-centered.
I did this.
Yeah.
Instead of, He gave me the ability to withstand all the trials to be able to go, do it. And so I just had this prayer that was like, Lord, at some point you have to open doors for me that I can't open myself. I can work circles around people, but at some point we have to be honest with any success in life. There has to be a fate element that comes with this.
Since 1973, the National Wild Turkey Federation has been working tirelessly to conserve the wild turkey and to preserve our hunting heritage. Today, the need for hunters to get involved is just as important, as the wild turkey is facing declines and the continuation of our outdoor pursuits are at risk in many parts of the country. Visit nwtf.org and join for just $35 to leave a lasting legacy that will help conserve wildlife and unite a nation through life-changing power of the outdoors.
So I think there's a lot of artists in town that we all look at and we think, why are they not where some of the other artists are, because they're so talented. And then on the other hand, we look at it and say, well, why are these artists where they are, that are successful? So I think that for me, I boiled it down to that there's an element of fate that comes involved with all of this in any success. And so my prayer became, Lord, I can work circles around people, but at some point you have to open doors for me that I can't open myself. And if you do that, I'll walk through those doors. But from here on out, I'm just going to get in the passenger seat and let you drive the car. And so I feel like the toughest challenge for me was getting out of the driver's seat and getting in the passenger seat, because I was a kid that has eat, slept, and breathed this thing from day one. And a lot of times I almost wonder if maybe some of the success that I didn't have in my career was because I was trying too hard. Like I was, holding it too tight, the real. And so when I finally made the decision that I was good with my career, if that was all it was when all of a sudden things started happening, and I was able to have a song back on country radio with Drew Baldridge, Tough People. I got a call to do the road. I won the road, and, here we are today. And so my plan, moving forward is just to stay in the passenger seat. So it would be easy now at this point that I feel like I've got some momentum to jump back in the driver's seat, but I did that for so long that I enjoy kind of where I am now, and just trusting him with the process. And even if things do
take pressure off.
Yeah. And even if this is all it is, I'm good with it. Like I've come to a good place in my life to say, my biggest claim to fame is I won a TV show, put a little money in my pocket, played stagecoach, wrote a couple number ones, and I sat down with you, on a podcast, and had, like, I've lived my dream.
Yeah.
But I feel like there is a lot more that's coming my way, as long as I keep giving him,
100%.
the needs.
I think that's like the massive shift is not just even just thinking it, like being bold in your faith and saying out loud, like, I've partnered with you, with God, on my journey, and this is really ultimately about giving glory to his kingdom because it's the gifts that he's given me. No, and I think that, like, that's a maturity, like, as a person and spiritually, and it's like, and those lessons, like, you couldn't have known them in your 20s. You had to have lived life and had some failures and successes in order to get to that point now. So it is, it's funny because, like, I feel like I'm kind of walking in that space in my own life where for the first time I'm like very like at peace. Like I'm working so hard, but I'm at peace with where I am because I feel like I know what I have to offer the world, and I know my confidence in what he thinks of me, and so, like, that's more important than anything. And, like, I wish that for everyone.
Same. It's easier said than done. Like, I feel like I was always the guy that sure in my 20s said, oh yeah, like, I'm letting the Lord lead me, but was I really doing that in my action
or in your mind and
Correct.
spirit?
Correct.
Yeah.
And so I just feel now, without a doubt, it's kind of like, this is all yours anyways, and like, I'm cool as a fan either way this thing goes, and the dreams and aspirations of my heart. But I also think what a great way for me to be an example.
Yeah.
Of, hey, never give up on your dreams, for one, and hard work and dedication with the partnership of God can really take you places.
For sure. It's funny because I feel like as well there's a revival happening, spiritual revival, and you can see it in town. Like, something has changed. Like, it's just, all it is the Holy Spirit. I mean, the power of prayer, but, like, it's changed so dramatically from when I moved to town to now. And, these conversations are being had more and more and more. Whereas when I first moved to town, I feel like people would have them, but they wouldn't be having them on podcasts, and they wouldn't be having them on stages and all of that stuff. And they might have back in their day, maybe in the 90s they did, but, like, there was a period where they didn't. And so, no, it's cool. It's really cool to see that. And I think that it's, like, very, very good for the genre of country music as well.
Absolutely.
That's great. So what does the year look like? Stagecoach, when does Stagecoach kick off?
Stagecoach is April, end of April.
Oh,
I think I'm playing Sunday night, April 26th.
You need to set up a California turkey hunt.
That's a good idea. If I could figure out some time to carve out of there.
No, you sure. That would be so
Yeah,
cool.
we're playing the same night as Post Malone, Brooks and Dunn, Hootie and the Blowfish, like,
so cool.
Awesome lineup. So really, really looking to that, forward to that performance. I've always said the bigger the stage, the bigger the crowd, the bigger the lights, like, the better I am at what I do. And so, like, super excited for that. We're working on a lot of new music.
Yeah.
Would hope to have a full-length album project out this next year. And then I also have the Red Bull Jukebox that I'm doing at the Pinnacle here in Nashville later in the year. And honestly, outside of that, again, like, I'm just in the passenger seat.
Whatever comes your way.
And I'm going to take it. And I woke up this morning and went and wrote a song, and here I am now. And, getting ready for a private event that I've got in Austin to go do in a few days. And so, who knows?
Excited about life. Things are good. And that's great. That's awesome. I'm very happy for you, and you seem like you're in a really good place. I really want to see you make a turkey hunt happen around that California show, because that would just be perfect.
If you've got any connections, let me know.
I do have one connection, and I think it's, like, up in the wine country area, which, like, how cool would that be to shoot a turkey strutting through the vineyards? Yeah. That would be epic. So, and then go do a wine tasting afterwards.
What do they have out there? Rios, or what do they have? Marions?
Yeah, no, I think they're Rios, aren't they?
I don't even know, to be honest with you. I've never, the furthest west that I've been is when we went to you and I went to
Wyoming
yeah,
for the Old West.
There.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was isn't that cool out there?
yes.
Hey Siri, what species of wild turkey is in California? Yeah, it's a Rio.
Okay.
It's a Rio. Well, I think 2 species introduced, mostly a Rio. Yeah, so yeah, that would be.
Doesn't Cam Haynes live out in
Isn't he around? I thought he was. Yeah, maybe.
maybe California somewhere?
Or somewhere. Isn't he somewhere around the? What is the mountains and stuff called?
I don't know. I'm not good with geography.
I'm not either. But yeah, yes, where
I'm
are
the
you?
guy in high school, yeah.
All right, awesome. That's so exciting. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It was great to catch up with you, and
Right.
I'm very happy for all your success.
Let's
It's great.
get on turkey hunt this year.
I would love to.
Let's go. I've got places here.
Okay,
Let's get back together.
let's do it.
Zach.
We're going to be doing another turkey tour. Everyone stay tuned. It should be airing right now. So Field and Stream. So we've just announced our partnership with Field and Stream TV. So we're going to be on fast channels.
Amazing.
Yeah. So let's do it. I would love.
Congratulations to you and all your success too. And you're right. You're one of the first people that like I wasn't very. I was still new into town when we met. So like to see you and your success and just like your drive has been very inspirational. And
Thank
so would love to continue to hang and share the woods together.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Guys, go and check out Adam Sanders, all his new music streaming now. And if you haven't yet got a ticket to Stagecoach, go and grab one so you can see him live in concert. Thank you for watching.